Hello, I'm Isla and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be discussing Laura Ashley Decorates a London House, and to be completely transparent, this is a book I didn't love from the beginning, but it's really grown on me. It's really interesting from a marketing perspective. Must have been in the early 80s that Laura Ashley actually bought a West London townhouse, your classic sort of four terrace London brick, built in 1862 in a very exclusive area of London, so in near Kensington High Street, it says. But like a lot of these houses, they were big and they'd been converted quite crudely into a series of flats. So the company bought it and decided to sensitively restore it back to its former glory. And they actually went to huge lengths. So they wanted it to be very authentic to the period. So they took lots of patterns, wallpaper patterns and fabric patterns from Manchester City art galleries, and they put them back into production. So you could actually buy them from Laura Ashley. And you can probably see from this colour palette why it wasn't my first love. It's quite dark and it is very faithful to the Victorian period, but actually it really grew on me because we had family friends when I was a child, and they lived in a much smaller version of this kind of house, all decorated in this kind of style in Laura Ashley, and I really recall it with fond memories and thought it was incredibly special as a child. So I kind of love it now. And you can see just what a different sort of life we lead. I've got a very small bay window myself, and I definitely wouldn't have all of that heavy fabric bullion fringing, but it is fabulous and it's incredible what they did. They actually reinstated all of the fireplaces, the cornicing work, the original sort of door. Well, the doors had to be put back in, and yeah, it was a huge undertaking. This definitely has that kind of gentleman's sort of, I'm a Victorian gentleman, I'm cutting my trades and my deals in the parlour feel. The text is quite heavy. It has put me to sleep about 3 times at bedtime, which is possibly a good thing. It's definitely a sort of philosophy, a philosophical account of 19th century design and decoration, and there was a lot going on. There was a sort of Gothic battling for the neoclassical Egyptian style seen here, a lot of sort of theory behind the house, and it's heavy but interesting. Wow, not sure I'd have her above my sofa these days, but there she is. They studied a lot of watercolors that were from the period so they could get the sort of historical accuracy. Love the morning room, so pretty. And I live in a Victorian property myself. It's not converted, it's a flat that's purpose built, but you definitely do get these really dark corners, so this feels very familiar to me. Oh, those painted chairs, divine. I just love any painted furniture. This is quite interesting because they talk about the kitchen, and they didn't want the dining room and kitchen to be sort of put back to Victorian days because, let's face it, that wasn't very comfortable. And if you were living in this house, you wouldn't have been planning to spend any time in that kitchen with a blackened stove range. So they actually sort of came up with this compromise where they added wow, the food styling is amazing. Let's see if I can find a picture. Here we go. They left it open plan, so with just a sort of curtain you could pull across and divide the rooms, but they wanted all plastic, hidden away, boilers, anything like that. So this was their kind of compromise on what, living would be like, but still be sort of a faithful nod to Victoriana. obviously the tent room is my absolute shining star of the whole book. I always wonder, it's a bit like that game, Guess the Number of Sweets in a Jar. How many meters of fabric do you think it took to make this room? I just can't even get my head around it. I've tried thinking, is it 35 meters? Is it 50? Would have cost an absolute fortune. I can't even get my head around how you do it. I think maybe you build sort of curtain rails around here, and then I've no idea, but it's amazing. And it's just an incredible marketing exercise. I think they said that the fabric was actually, where does it say? The fabric in a design of multicoloured stripes and flowers on a pale lemon ground was taken from an 18th century hand-painted silk in the Whitworth Art Gallery, Manchester. We all need to go to Manchester. So pretty. So that's actually a lot earlier than the period of the house. Not so crazy about the bedroom. It's quite heavy. I think there's a matching bathroom as well. I do love yellow. And I really love, is that kind of like a moire silk kind of pattern? Oops. I'm going to sort of skip through, except the dress is divine. The French bedroom is really interesting because I think that stylistically, I always think about the fact that I love William Morris and I love this kind of style too. And really, William Morris was sort of in opposition to this style. His arts and crafts style was sort of directly rebelling against this kind of style of work. And I really love both aesthetics. Because I guess it's the history of what I've grown up with. Like I always say, they do a fabulous bathroom. Look at that wallpaper. Wish I could do that. My bath panel isn't flat enough. But anyway, I'm going to skip through to the Sweet Pea bedroom. Is amazing. I think this is so clever. They say it takes up lots of less space than a four-poster bed, so this is a really good sort of treatment of having these curtains. You can see it better here. I'd never really thought about that, but it is actually a really clever idea. And then I'm going to skip through the garden to just some of the before and afters are just amazing. You can really see what they were sort of up against, installing all of this cornicing. There you go, there's a William Morris pattern I love, Marigold. I never get tired of that. And that was obviously what was in the house originally, but it was a huge undertaking for them. The kitchen is a horror show. I wonder who's got that house now, and I wonder what it looks like. That's what I always think. Anyway, there you go. Let me know if, like me, you've lived in a Victorian house and if any of this appeals to you. And we'll see each other next time.